Yeah, of course. I mean, now we're almost at the end of our journey, so it's really good to look back, I think, how it all started. Just over a year ago, I would say, when I did a lot of research on surrogacy because of personal issues. And finally found Chachava, found a few others as well, and this is why I would recommend to everyone that you do your research and you go with what feels comfortable for you. I mean, we're from Dubai, so we have very, very high standards, across everything. And after we went to Chachava and after we, met the individual, after we met the famous Dr. Ketty, for us it was a no-brainer which agency we would have chosen. So we decided on Chachava and then started the process and did the entire egg stimulation and IVF process at Chachava. I spent a month there and it was amazing. You spent a day there.
I was just about to give you some credit for doing all the research. But no, it's been an amazing journey, and I think there are a few points that people might want to know about, and I think it starts with the fact that you don't think much about surrogacy unless you come to the point where this is kind of maybe your only option, and then your perception on that topic changes a bit, because we live in Dubai, as she said. We see a lot of kids in the streets, in the park, everywhere, and you think, okay, this can't be so complicated. At the end of the day, you never know people's stories, and what we found out when she started researching the topic is unbelievable, like what people go through, the personal struggles, right? And then, as she said, she did all the research, and I think it's a bit due to the environment we live in. We live in Dubai, where that sounds maybe a bit odd, but everyone has really high expectations. We're used to a very high standard, right? And then I didn't know about Georgia having a surrogacy program, and then she told me about Georgia, and then I looked on a map, and I was like, hold on, they have a surrogacy program. And she said yes, and I said, why'd you pick her? I read about it, and she's the best. And that was enough for me, because I know she's a fantastic researcher. If she says that's the best, then you go. And she went in by herself to do the journey here while I was working, and then I came close to Christmas. I think it was close to Christmas, and then Christmas Eve, we flew back to Dubai, I think, right? And zero regrets. Zero. Unbelievable.
I have one regret. I wish we would have started earlier. And not waited this long. I admit I messaged my coordinator the night before my flight, and I said I'm backing out. I said I'm not doing it. my husband can vouch for me. I'm a very anxious person. So if anyone can do this, if I can do this, anyone can do this. The 1 month I spent in Tbilisi, again because I was so worried and anxious, I did not go anywhere. I did not leave Chachava. I lived at Chachava, just to say. I stayed in the apartment rooms that they have there, and I barely even went out. So of course it was a really, really scary journey. And looking back, I wish I could just, slap myself and say, girl, go explore, enjoy, look how everything turned out.
I think adding to this, Tbilisi has become a very special place for us. Not just aside from the fact that our son was born here, but also the overall experience, like discovering the city, the country, the people. It's been truly amazing, honestly. And I remember when she traveled here by herself, and then she said, oh, they have rooms at the clinic, I can stay at the clinic. And then she literally showed me the first video, and I thought, wow, that's bigger than our living room. And she told me about the amazing breakfast they have there. And the thing is, honestly, if you haven't been here, you don't know what to expect, right? And then, we came here. I came here 3 weeks later, and I only spent a few days here before we flew back. But those made quite an impression. And we met Dr. Kenny as well, and until now, I really have to say, this is not a job for her. This is her purpose in life. When you talk to her, you feel this. And I had a chat with her, and I asked her when she kind of started looking into the topic, when she felt like medicine was her topic. I think she was 4 when she was in the clinic the first time, and she knew she wants to do something like that. And you feel that, and yeah, we've been very lucky. Yeah.
And I think you need to trust your gut a little bit, and the same way that, you know, I did my research and I went with my gut feeling, it was the same with this surrogate mother that you had sent. I truly believe, now looking back, because now I can say this, I do believe that you and the coordinators, you don't just randomly, you know, give surrogate mother profiles to couples. I really think it's somehow tailored a little bit in terms of what that person's looking for, their personalities, look, I don't know how you do it, but you picked the most wonderful surrogate mother for us, and for that I will always be thankful.
Are you still in touch?
Yes, yes, very much, very much. And one of the things I'm very happy about is that I came earlier. I came at about week 36. 37, and then our son was born at full term, anyways, 40 weeks, and I got to spend these weeks with our surrogate mother, and we had lunch together, we walked around, we tried to get things moving along, but it was a really, really nice experience. So I would highly recommend that you do come a bit earlier and don't rush through this beautiful period, you know, and maybe get the chance to meet your surrogate mother and thank her for everything that she's doing.
And I think that's not even enough. This person is gifting you a child. How do you thank someone for something like this, right? With a word, thank you? No, of course not. So yeah, you build a relationship with her that is still ongoing, and we will be forever grateful. I think it was also such a coincidence that she is, so she's from the Philippines. And the interesting thing is that for us this made sense at some point, because we live in Dubai. There's a lot of people working from the Philippines, and they're amazing people. They're really patient, friendly, kind, helpful. Like, they're all really good people. And then we saw the profiles, and this was the first profile, and she's from the Philippines, and that's it. There was no discussion about it, right? There was no moment of hesitation. That was clear. That was our sign, and we went ahead, and that's how it was. I don't know if you want to maybe talk about how strict she was with following the schedule and nutrition and all that. That was
yes. I would say because I got to spend so much time with her, I got to know a little bit more about the surrogate mother side versus the intended parent side. So she had a wonderful experience. Honestly, I did not realize how much support she got from Chachava until I found out that she had her own coordinator. All surrogate mothers have coordinators. She lived beside the clinic. She had a great roommate that she got along with, and she was provided a lot of support. So that was really nice, understanding as well their side of the story and not just our side of the story, because we of course get fantastic support from our coordinators, but it's nice to see that they also have equally good support. Dramatic. Aren't all births dramatic? I don't know.
They are.
Yes, so just to take it back one step, about 2 weeks before the due date, our surrogate mother was asked which doctor she would like to deliver the baby. So I knew the doctors, and I had a preference as well, and she chose the one I was hoping, Dr. Georgie. I'm not allowed to, I don't know, am I allowed to say his name? Absolutely fantastic. And she chose him. He created such a nice atmosphere. He had, well, first of all, the room was gorgeous. The room was huge. It has a bath for water births. It has, of course, the private bed. It has, well, everything medically you would need. And then Dr. Georgie came in with his sound machine and his sexy light machine, and it was such a nice atmosphere. You know, my surrogate mother and I, we spent a day and a half together in that room, and we had the most fun. Really, they made it such a nice, comfortable environment for her. And she told me, she said, she has 3 kids herself, and she said she's never felt like such a human being in this process. So I was really, really happy for us.
Do you also want to hear the perspective of the father?
Of course.
Because you were not allowed to go in, right? So I remember we were in the city and we received a notification we should come to the hospital. It could happen within the next hours. She went through all this, what she just described. And I was running around in Tbilisi, you know, like completely like a headless chicken. And you're thinking, oh my God, is this really the day your child's born, right? It's like, and you're by yourself, and you wander around, you're waiting for the phone to vibrate, you know, it's not happening. And at some point she messaged me and said, hey, I think you should come. And then I went to the clinic and I stayed outside, you know, because you're not allowed to enter in this part. And then I saw other parents, you know, in this area that had a little baby, and I was thinking, like, since this is our first child, I was like, are they really gonna come around now with a little one that is laid half to me and half to her? That feels so surreal, right? And then all of a sudden my phone goes bing, 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 and then look, and it's the pictures literally after he was born. And that is unbelievable. That is really unbelievable. And then he was born, and I think half an hour later I was holding him on my arms, and it's hard to believe that this is us, you know, like, and the fun fact is, now that he's getting older, he's already more than a month, you know, and everyone keeps saying, oh, he looks like the mother, you know, and for me it's like, oh yeah, cool, you know, and you can see in his hair color, you know, there's something of me in him, but all jokes aside, it's, we had a very beautiful experience, and yeah, Dr. Georgie is fantastic, also the staff at the clinic. Very professional, and I think also extremely experienced. They take a bit of your fear, right? Because you panic about everything. The baby, you hold the baby, you don't know how. The baby's crying, you know, and this is kind of like really a first-time experience, and it's beautiful. They make it very pleasant.
I would also like to add that, well, unfortunately it did end up in an emergency C-section, which does happen, but the recovery process, so our surrogate mother stayed in the hospital for 5 days, and we got to see her every day. We spent time together. She got to meet her son Daniel. So yeah, those few days afterwards as well were really nice, that we were kind of still together, living that experience.
I think we also initiated that a bit, you know, because she may not live with us, but she is somehow part of our family. So of course we have a picture with her, with our son, right? That is really very unique, because you also have to think about what she is going through, you know, within all these, it's even more than 9 months that she spends here, right? So yeah, it's also quite the process for her.
Yeah, the paperwork. I'm a bit disappointed that it wasn't harder, because I was so prepared, you know, to suffer, to fight with the agency, to, you know, threaten my coordinator. None of that happened. There was no drama around it. The birth certificate was done in a couple of weeks. All the translations were done perfectly. All the paperwork needed was provided without even me asking. Honestly, I was still in this love newborn bubble, and all of a sudden, you know, the coordinators are just sending me all these documents. Oh, here you go, it's done. I'm like, slow down. I don't want this to pass so quickly. So for you know, past me and for all future intended parents, don't worry so much about the paperwork. I think not only Chechnya, but this country makes it very easy and very comfortable. The process is very straightforward. Again, if I could figure it out, then anyone could. So it was nothing scary, and
I think one hiccup we faced, and I think that's a funny story we want to talk about, is getting the documents printed and stamped in the Kodak places.
Yes,
do you want to open that up real quick? Because you unfortunately had to go by yourself.
Yeah.
I wasn't here anymore.
Well, no, I would just say that it's all part of the Georgia Tbilisi experience, you know, finding these Kodak, these Kodak shops where you print out your documents, and you know what, I'm not gonna give any hints, but enjoy it when your time comes. Maluna is, honestly speaking, and I don't get anything out of saying this, of course, but it is better than I expected. I had a lot of fears as a first-time mother, as a first-time parent. We work, we both have jobs, full-time jobs. We don't have a lot of maternity and paternity leave, and Maluna took away those fears because, you know, the nurses that, the nannies and the nurses that work here, they are, you know, absolutely fantastic. They are wonderful, and they took away that fear, which left us with just this, you know, this happy time of spending, you know, time with Daniel, with our newborn. And I think a lot of parents are scared at the beginning, and I know that, and I appreciate that. And I'm almost embarrassed to say that I didn't have that fear here. So when I booked Maluna again and again,